And we're back. Another AC Milan Zone podcast. I'm here joined with the best fullback of AC Milan Zone, Oscar. Welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that shout out.
We're here just a couple hours before the Monza game. We're not really usually stream any so close to the games. This time it works out on this lovely Saturday evening. And we're here also, as we can see on the screen, following the defeat to the league leaders, Napoli, at home 2-0. We can get into the game, but of course, the big talk that we had in this game, and we'll have more about it when we talk about the Monza game coming up, was a decimated team, obviously. No Teo, no Tej coming into this because of the various bullshit that happened at Bologna. No Gabbia. And we found out shortly before the game that Pulisic was not feeling well. It wasn't too clear to me. I heard that he had either the flu or some stomach bug, but he wasn't going to be playing. And yet, Fonseca insisted on not playing Leao. He stays on the bench. We play with Musa and Loftus-Cheek. And we go down pretty early and pretty much never looked too lively after that. What do you think? I mean, we knew that Leao was going to be benched before. Obviously, what this is when Pulisic was going to play, so it was going to be him, Chukwueze, and probably Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think the stars align. I think the stars align there, like you said. No Rangers, no Teo. Gabbia also pulled up injured, just like you mentioned. That's three starting players already down. And then Pulisic out of the blue comes up as unavailable to start at least. And I think I commented on the AC Milan Zone Instagram that not starting Rafa Leao when you have no Teo, no Rangers, no Gabbia. Not that he would play center back or anything, but you know what I mean. Like three out of the starting 11, and then also Pulisic, which is quite a similar player to Leao, a winger, right? Even though Pulisic was going to start as a cam anyways, don't start Leao. Something is so off, and I feel like that is almost a sackable offense. I don't know what's wrong.
yeah,
It's not like we have a star-studded team and Leao is not tracking back into his defensive duties. I don't think we can afford to bench someone for not tracking back at this point,
that's
considering
exactly
Leao
it.
shouldn't. Yeah,
That's
we
exactly
can't
it. To
afford
me,
to bench a
it's
star player.
I see online the two camps of, oh, Leao walks around a lot, and he doesn't track back, and he's not, he has the bad parts of his body language and can walk around a lot, and that's one side. Or Leao is the end all be all, and he needs to play 90 minutes and start every game. And like most things in life, the truth is in the middle. Does Leao walk a lot, and does he not track back, and is he very lazy on defense? For sure. Is he
Yeah,
also on his day easily the best player that we have and can create something out of nothing? And we survived at least half a season last year, if not more, just giving the ball to him and hoping. Yes, I understand that Fonseca wants to, sort of put down the law a little bit and say, hey, like no one's bigger than the team and all that, and I can respect that. But ultimately, there's various ways to coach a player. It's not, hey, go to the bench until you do what I say. Leao is clearly a player that's very emotional, that needs continuity, that needs trust, and needs to say, hey, look, good game, bad game, you start next time
yeah.
to give back. Did he come in, at Napoli? He had a few good things going forward. Was he like running and damning himself? Not really. I could have guessed that would have been his response. I think, you talk to him. Sometimes it's tough love. Sometimes you can coddle him a little bit, but you need him to buy in. We can't afford. You're absolutely right. We're just not deep enough to afford to just have, our best, arguably our best player. Obviously, not right now is Pulisic, but I'm talking peak form. Out
Yeah.
over spats, especially in a game like this where you're missing so many starters, and you're playing with Musa and Loftus-Cheek. No disrespect to them, but it just
It
upsetting.
does. I don't think it really makes sense, and it's not like Fonseca is one of the greatest managers of all time who comes into Milan and then decides to do this. Then you can maybe understand it, but like, it's Fonseca. He's already sort of lost the dressing room. Comes in and benches Leao game after game after game. I saw a stat somewhere whereby we've only lost once when Leao started against Napoli,
Yeah,
and the three
yeah.
other
It used to
times
be one of
that
his
we
favorite
haven't started
matchups for
him.
sure.
Yeah, so it's just silly, and if it's Fonseca not being the bigger person and having something personal against Leao now just to prove the media wrong, I don't know. It's very bizarre. And Fonseca's interview after the game, I mean, I only picked up some parts of it. He was saying that things were looking good, we were playing well, and he's happy with the performance. Maybe I'm completely off there, but I'm pretty sure
No,
that's what he
you're right.
said.
Yeah, you're saying we're playing well,
I
and
don't.
that playing loud, not playing
Yeah,
loud is just any coach's decision type of choice.
yeah. No, we can't afford to bench a Leao in a game against Napoli, who are now top, and who were top. With the lack of depth we have now. Okafor should get his chances, but in a game like Napoli like this, I feel
Yeah,
like Leao
I
should
also
start.
don't think he didn't play bad. I'm not anti Okafor,
No,
but
exactly.
there's
Yeah,
but there are leaks to this game, it's the type of thing, and yeah, Leao is just so much more explosive, and it hurts even more because you see 2-0 the result of the final game and the final result of the game, and you see the last maybe 15 minutes where we kind of gave in, and you say, this wasn't even close. But we were on the upper foot for the most part. We gifted a goal early on. Then they, very much like an early Conte team, just fell back, fully behind the ball, just throwing the ball to Lukaku when they had it for no reason. And we
yeah,
created chances. We had chances. We had the goal that is allowed, but we had chances in the second half. We had chances in the first half. This was a game that we could have brought 1 point away from, that we could have won with a little bit more spark. So it was there, and we just put him in for the game when it's already done, and he's walking around a little bit. And again, of course, in an ideal world, he takes this as motivation, comes in, scores 3 against Napoli, tracks back on defense. But it's also, the way we know the way he is, and it's hard to blame him to be like, hey, look, why do I gotta, break my back now? But
yeah,
as we saw, it's not a situation that's going to end. It's also terrible for us because it means that if it continues like this at the end of the season, he's going to go. And he's going to go for cheap because he's been benched the whole season and he's not
yeah,
going to play well. So it just doesn't work out. It looks like Fonseca's chosen to die on this hill. A lot of the comments that we're getting on our Instagram page seems to say that, we better hope he's sacked soon so that, in this sort of power struggle between him and Rafa comes out on top. How do you see it? Do you think, if the results don't start coming, he's getting the
yeah.
sack and then Leao will be happy again?
Yeah, maybe, but at the same time, I think this goes back to April or May, where we should have decided on a manager much earlier. It's just a lose-lose at this point, unless Leao starts well. I shouldn't say playing well, but in the media side, getting goals, getting assists. If that doesn't start happening, and Fonseca is being kept on, allowed to continue at Milan, then even I feel like Leao is almost destined to start looking at other options at the end of the season, because yeah, the whole Fonseca appointment was very bizarre, I think, compared to what was probably other, well, we had probably better options to go for.
Yeah,
So I think it started
including
back in
Conte,
April
right?
and
I
May.
mean, by all
Yeah,
reports, he was there and offered himself up, and we said rather quickly, nope, no thanks, not what we want. I saw a comment that I thought was very spot on in terms of our coaching search, as you were talking about, which is you get what you paid for, right? You don't want to pay the top box for Conte. You don't want to take the medium box for someone like Thiago Motta. And you see the other
yeah,
the other managers that are paid and how Inzaghi's paid. Um, Instead, you go rather cheap for Fonseca. You get what you pay for, and we saw that in this week right before the game, the sort of the finances report was published, and we've never done better, and we're making so much money, but in in very similar ways of how American owned teams are these days, that money is not being reinvested and spent to improve in the footballing results. But it's all just a big check in the in the finance reports.
Yeah.
And it's really a shame. Beyond that, what did you think of the game? I'll give maybe my quick rundown to begin with. Real shame about the first goal. We gave it up right away. Started all from a pretty bad Magnan giveaway. I saw a lot of people clowning on Pavlovic for sort of losing the one-on-one with Lukaku. I don't know. That's overblown. You go shoulder to shoulder with a big striker. You win some, you lose some. To me, the real
Yeah.
mistake that Pavlovic make was earlier. If you see from the high point, right as the pass is played, all the other three, being Chao, Emerson Royal, and Terracciano, are up high. Lukaku makes the run. You just step up and let him go offside, and that's easy. Instead, he follows him for 2 or 3 steps, and now it's one-on-one. The ball is through, and at that point, yeah, it's a coin flip.
Yeah, no, and it started even off by, because it looked so simple, the goal, right? The ball,
Yeah,
obviously Magnan fumbles it. It goes back to their centre back. Can't remember exactly who's pretty much just on the halfway line. A straight pass, 15 meters to Anguissa, I believe. I can't remember who gave the assist to Lukaku, but nobody around him. One simple through ball. It's literally almost a straight line from defender to midfielder to striker, and boom, goal. I don't know what the midfield was doing there. There was Fofana or Musa that should have covered that side, but whoever assisted had acres of space.
yeah, it was Anguissa, you're right.
Lukaku finds that pocket. Pavlovic does a mistake, right? But it's a correctable mistake. Loses a one-on-one there. Um, yeah, just again such an easy goal that we concede. We've conceded so many of these types of goals where it's the marking that's not worked, or we're being too zonal. We're trying to play with a high line. The Tomori whiffing of the header against Fiorentina. I keep going back to that. Just so simple. It's I feel like in a lot of these games that we've lost or drawn in the Serie A, it's not been like absolutely fantastic play from the other team. It's us allowing them to do so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not
for
that we
us, it
can
takes
really
it takes a
put our
lot
hands
to
up and be like,
score,
that's an incredible. Yeah,
and for them, it seems all too easy. And then
exactly.
yeah, they kind of
It's
fell
just
back. They didn't offer much. Honestly, I was not impressed by Napoli. I mean, we know that
no.
Conte doesn't win championships. Maybe playing the, every game like Prime Barcelona. He gets it done one way or another, and that's you need to do that to win, of course. That's also a trait of the good teams. But there wasn't much there. We had a few chances. Musa had a few chances. I thought he played well. Look, he's gonna make mistakes. There was a particularly bad one when the ball is coming down in our box and his first touch is atrocious and he gives away and it
Yeah,
creates a chance for them.
that was.
But I think is that the type of player he is. I don't think we give him the key to midfield and say go for it. But in a game like this, obviously, ideally when there's Fofana and Tej and he's just there to just kind of run and be the hustle type of player, I think that's just good enough. I thought I appreciate again. You can be if you make mistakes, I can always forgive. Maybe I can talk about the level of quality that you bring to the team, but he ran a lot. Loftus-Cheek honestly tried a little bit in the first half, more than he's tried in the last couple of games. He just had a few bad touches, a few bad passes, and then in the second half, to me, just regressed back to just kind of ball watching and kind of with the flow of the game, which is we can't
Yeah,
afford when we
pretty
have
pretty
this lineup.
pretty lackluster. I agree with you that there were some moments in the first half where you're like, okay, this is something to build on. It's not fantastic, but we're getting in the right direction. This is the PSG Ruben Loftus-Cheek that we saw last season, but no, then it slowly sort of wilted and died, and it was a mediocre performance. Even though FootMob rated him 7.2, I
Yeah, I'm
guess
sure
it's
that's
some passing
touches or
accuracy
passing.
maybe,
Yeah, he
or
was definitely not. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Fofana does well as always. I mean, he's key. I also thought Chukwueze and Okafor did okay. They tried. Again, nothing stellar. We lost to 0. I don't think anyone is coming out looking stellar. I did want to talk about Morata. Man, I feel bad for him. He's playing cam. I've not yet seen him play a full Milan game as proper striker. He's
yeah,
he's below the line of the three after time. He's running. He's fighting for balls. But I mean, 111 players in the Serie A have had more shots than Alvaro Morata. He's, you
Wow,
know,
is that many?
yeah. Uh, he's, I forgot the exact ranking, but way down for in terms of touches in the box. I mean, he never gets it there. Um, I feel really bad, and that's another thing that I think, Rafa would be so key. How many times did we see last year Rafa just dribbling right through and then just delivering a great ball in the middle of the box for Giroud to tap in, or do the classic cut back and cross with his right foot curling in for
Yeah.
for for Giroud to get in. I mean,
No, and you could see it obviously in the goal disallowed. Maybe I'm fast forwarding here a bit, but you saw the relief in Morata there. He looked so happy and, trying to rev up the team.
yeah,
This is the 46th
means a
minute,
lot
and
to
he's
him.
like, "Go, grab the ball, let's go, let's go." And it's almost like the Camarda offside goal. Like you could see how sad he got afterwards. But
Yeah, and
uh,
also I think that's where we kind of died right there, right? It comes back with that goes in 2-1, especially when we'll be on the front foot for most of the game. Um,
mhm.
you say, hey, this is very possible, and then gets taken away, and yeah, that we sort of died. And that's also, I think, that sort of annoyed me. The last few minutes, like, okay, it's 2-1, they've hunkered down, you're not creating a lot of chances, it's hard to create chances because there's no space. But you're home 2-1. If we won this game, we were jumped ahead of Inter and Juve. Second place, and would have been, I think, 1 or 2 points off Napoli. Show me some fight, show me some fight. Don't just follow and say, hey, it's 5 minutes left, 2 goals. All right, yeah, we try what we can. It kills me when they don't try. And I think it's super frustrating for the fans as well, rightfully so. And yeah, that was the thing that really, really annoyed me about the end of the game.
Mhm.
Now, of course, a lot of players out. Gabbia, Tej, Theo, Pulisic, obviously all key. You can argue even about Calabria and so on. So we hope, hey, we can still turn the page, um, but it looks quite rough. So I mean, it is right now 6:49, which means we're just under 2 hours away from the Monza game. Maybe we
Mhm.
can jump to that. Another Leao benching, of course. Unless there's any surprises, we'll see the official formation come out. But there's always the pretty reliable leaks. Um, for the rest, I assume the formation is going to be very similar. Apparently, there's going to be a rest for Emerson Royal with Terracciano playing on the other side. Maybe the best thing out of this little stretch of games where Teo wasn't playing is that Terracciano, while not being great, showed himself to be reliable enough as a sub,
Yeah.
and we have not had a sub for Theo for a long time. He looks like
Mhm.
he's going to be playing on the right side this time. It looks like Chao and Pavlovic remain the selection. We'll see if Tomori gets some playing time. It looks like Fonseca really likes the pairing of Gabbia and Tomori, and prefers Tomori to play on that side. Well, that's why we never plays with Pavlovic anymore. With Teo obviously coming back, for Fanantige for sure. It looks like Chukwueze, Loftus-Cheek, and Pulisic behind Morata. What do you think? Another benching, this time maybe meaningless game. We saw before Fonseca trying maybe to first give him the start in the big games, then maybe in the small ones. What do you think? Anything to add, or is still sort of the same sentiment you were talking about before?
Same sentiment. I don't. If it's purely because it's a lack of effort defensively, I still find this very bizarre. I mean, Fonseca is he's almost it's almost a bit psychotic of Fonseca now that we've had a poor run of games. We're losing. Okay, we're losing against Napoli. We're top of the table. Unconvincingly lost, but he's almost digging his own grave by not starting our best player. I find that very bizarre, and I feel like from he must have heard something from management that he's in the safe spot right now if he's continuing to not want to start our best player. I find that very bizarre, very very strange.
Absolutely, it is very strange. It seems like, yeah, almost like a stubbornness thing where he's decided to die on this hill. The report says that there hasn't apparently been a big fight between him and the player, that there remain the conversations. But I assume those conversations must be pretty icy. Also because yeah, I mean we're not, again, it's literally his job. It's a coach's job to kind of fix these things. You can't coach a player to be better, right? Those the gifts and the training. You can coach a player to play better and to play like you want. So there needs to be a discourse where it's like, hey, look, maybe
Yeah,
we can
or
play a certain way. You
or
need to do these sort of things.
or perhaps tactically changes so that Leao doesn't have to do the defensive duties in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like I know nowadays everyone has to track
Yeah,
back.
the argument
It's not
I
like
kind of agree with you there. The argument against is that hey, look, Morata is playing cam because he's coming back and chasing after time. So we're conceding 2 goals a game. There's no element in which we play well. Um, I think, but yeah, I mean, there could be things that could be done. Also, Morata needs to rest at some point. Jovic will be back on the bench for this one. With Tammy still out, maybe there is an option to hey, maybe play him a striker and say, hey, look, on when we attack, you stay on the wing anyway where you like it. When we defend, you're kind of the main guy who just kind of does the initial pressure, and we put Okafor as sort of the runner. Maybe I guess Fonseca right now will probably say, hey, that's giving into him now, and I'm sticking to it. Um, but yeah, I mean, at this point, it looks like our season sort of lives and dies by this being figured out. What that means in terms of figured out, who knows? Obviously, ideally, they two come together. Leao does a little bit better in terms of the hard work. Fonseca plays them a little bit more, and it all comes together into a great winning season. Right now, it looks like
amicable, amicable resolution would be
yeah,
great.
yeah. Right now, it looks like it's more likely that either Leao stays on the bench for the whole season and plays spot minutes, or
Yeah, and
Fonseca's
and
head
and
rolls.
and I don't agree with that. Leao is no player should be bigger than the club, right? And that we should sack Fonseca because we want to keep Leao. Do you know what I mean? That's not how the conversation should be going. But
Yeah,
Fonseca should be wise enough, smart enough, mature enough to understand that, oops, like Leao is supposed to be part of that core, the Mignon, Teo, Leao core that we've been building for the past 3, 4, 5 years now. Um, Fonseca might have to yield a bit and understand that
yeah.
Leao is our best player. He should be starting. I'll try to fix this somehow rather than being stubborn and blaming it on lack of defensive duties.
Yeah, I mean, there's gray areas everything. It doesn't have to be he rots on the bench or they fire me. It's your job to come together and say, look, we gotta make this work somehow. And I mean, I'm sure Leao maybe is tough to deal with, but it's at the end of the day, it's just a person. And he'll understand. He also wants to win. He also wants to play well, but also wants Milan to win. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I'm sure the story will be a lot about that. Um, I'm curious. You think, obviously, Fonseca's now name is a little bit on the hot seat yet again. Do we think if, let's say, we lose today at home away against Monza and Leao either doesn't come on or comes on late, again, do we think there's a chance that we see management get rid of Fonseca?
Yeah, I think that should be a high conversation topic for management. Like, always again, with respect to Monza, but they're 16th.
Uh,
We've
check.
you see the run of games we've had.
Yeah, they're
Okay, 3-1
17th.
against Bruges, 17th, right? Yeah. We can see the run of games we've had on the screen now. The last 5 games. Fiorentina was a shocker of a game. Udinese 1-0. Yeah, that was okay. Bruges, usually we should have expected that 2-0 against Napoli. Benching Leao for that one. No, uh, we saw Ten Hag being let go. Of course, it's a bigger shit show at Man United right now. He's had a lot of backing financially, and he's come out with some strange quotes. But yeah, I think Fonseca's on the hot seat if we lose against the Monza, because I shouldn't say it's now or never, but I mean if we're gonna change coaches, well, let's not change it in January or February. That'd be way too late. You have to look at the timings as well.
Yeah. That's the thing.
very first week of November.
That's the thing I think lines up. You're totally right about the timing. That lines up the best. We have Monza today, and then Cagliari coming up, and then it's the international break. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking if you don't get 6, maybe 4 is enough, depending on how that draw comes up. But anything below that,
yeah.
and you're now playing your best player, and when he comes on, he's trending around. I'm sure that maybe the also Leao will start thinking, you know what,
But
I want
I
even
find it
more.
funny. I find it funny, Stefan. It's not against you at all. But we're talking about let's hope for 4 points against Monza and Cagliari. I mean, as Milan fans, we might be biased and thinking Milan are better than they are, but we shouldn't be talking about 4 points. Hopefully, we should be
Yeah.
talking about six if we're
Yeah.
going to be
No,
this competitive.
absolutely. You're totally right. I just think also in terms of like the optics, like I'm not sure that you win and you draw against Cagliari, and is that a fireable offense? Maybe not. Again, it all depends how it comes. Of
Yeah,
course, you can play. There's ways to lose in draws that are different. You play like we played against
yeah,
Liverpool. That's a different loss than how we lost against Borussia Dortmund and all that. Um, but yeah, the big gamble for Fonseca, because this next game will,
yeah.
especially with Leao being benched, will sort of determine how it goes.
And
And we had also better hope that it doesn't spread to the rest of the team, right? We'll see today what the
yeah,
spirits are like.
yeah. And I hope management have set some sort of standard for Fonseca, and it looks it could be very credible that he's been given. Yeah, you need to get to the next 6 points before the international break,
Yeah. I mean,
which I think is quite fair
yeah, I mean,
because
we
it
were
just doesn't
playing
seem to work
17th
with
today
Fonseca.
and Cagliari 16th at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you're not winning those, then you're in trouble for top 4, which is at the moment what we're fighting. What it looks like we'll be fighting for and are fighting for. Um,
hmm,
so I mean, I totally agree. At the end of the day, it's just as simple as that. Um, but yeah, beyond that, I mean, not too many choices to make. It would also be perfect because now he seems like he's trusting in Chukwueze, who plays a little bit more, and Loftus Cheek is just so lost that it's just the perfect time to like, hey, look, let him stay on the bench for a little bit, let him train, figure him out, maybe give him. Sometimes it's good for a player in that sort of position to get some spot minutes off the bench, because you come in sort of as a super sub. The game maybe there's a few more spaces. You're fresh. You can get your confidence back up and get going. And instead,
yeah,
we're our best player less because you fight and put him on the bench, and sort of 2 players less because you're forced to play Loftus-Cheek continuously. It's a tough
yeah.
combination.
And it's also with the Leao benching, it's not that Okafor or Chukwueze or Ruben Loftus-Cheek are having blinders of games. I mean, I think Okafor's been okay. Chukwueze is getting his mojo back a bit compared to what it was like in the first 3 weeks. Uh, but it's
Yeah,
not that
yeah. It's
somebody
it's
else is
it's
outshining Rafael.
yeah. You're totally right. It's just not. Yeah, it's not that you're like, well, you know, Rafa is very good, but he's not checking back, and Okafor is, kind of scores 1 goal a game, and then fair enough. All
Yeah,
right, now it's a competition. It's literally
yeah. Had it been
Okafor is
Pulisic
decent.
against Leao,
True. Then it's a different
that would have
topic.
made sense. Yeah,
But it's
but
it's
it's not.
literally
We
a,
have
a
another two
topic of,
positions.
yeah, Okafor is decent, not as much going forward, but he tracks a little bit back and runs a little bit more. Like there has to be a solvable problem without a big crisis and run. Like we're talking about just like a little bit extra effort and playing somewhat defensively. And again,
Hmm.
defensively, not recovering 7 balls a game, just like passing lanes and tracking back a little bit. It seems impossible to me that that's a problem that requires benching and feud with your manager and all that. Um, Nevertheless, here we are, Monza. We'll likely see
Yeah.
Daniel Maldini play. What are your thoughts for the game? You think we somehow power through? Obviously, last time we played the sort of lower level team in Udinese, won that game. bullshit red card kind of made it complicated, but very easily could have, by a toenail, we could have drawn that game, and that would have been a very different reaction to that Leao benching. How do you think this is going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at Monza's form, obviously they're at the very the lower end of the table. They lost against Atalanta recently, drew against Venezia, beat Hellas Verona 3-0. They've had a mixed bag of results, but I'm going to be positive. I think Milan could bounce back, considering we've been quite poor recently. And whilst we were saying that it was, yeah, the loss against Napoli wasn't perhaps as convincing as a 2-0 for them. There were some positive signs. I think we owned quite a big chunk of the game. So if we carry that through against a Monza who doesn't have a Kvaratskhelia that scores a pretty good, nice half solo run with a bottom bin finish like he did, then I think we do have the chance. But it's all up on these easy goals that we concede. Depending on who it is who's starting as our two center backs, I'm just hoping for everyone just to be pretty solid, not concede these easy goals that Monza could definitely do, because it seems like anyone can score against us.
Yeah, it feels like it's all in our hands, and usually, you feel confident about that. You say, hey, look, we have everything it takes to beat this team. All we got to do is go out there and play with some passion. Right now, it's hard to play with some passion with potentially several disgruntled players. I'm curious to see how Theo plays. He's also kind of has had this motivation problem, let's call it. He's quite close with Leao. Even recently, we've seen a lot of back and forth from them posting each other on the stories. So I'm a little bit worried about that block maybe starting to not necessarily sabotage Fonseca, but not go out there and die on the pitch in terms of different levels of effort. But that Tiji's gonna play hard. That Fofana's gonna play hard. That Pulisic is gonna play hard, and hopefully, I mean, that should be enough to beat a team like Monza. No disrespect to them, but yeah, we'll see. Unless you want to talk about something else, we can do predictions and then get out of here. For me, how long has it been? Yeah,
Yeah, no,
30
I don't
minutes.
think I have anything else to bring up. I saw a bit about that. Liberali should be moved up to the first team and actually be given some minutes, purely because that number 10 role that we have isn't uh
Yeah, there's just no
isn't
one
doing very
there.
well. Yeah.
What do you think about that? That's cute. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I watch Milan Futuro week in, week out. Liberali's been on a upwards trajectory, not as obvious as Camarda, but he starts for Italy's under 19s, I believe, and he had an incredible tournament this past summer. So I don't see why not. We've spoken on this podcast before about how bad Serie A teams are at bringing up young talents. I mean, it would be great to see something else, but it would be a big gamble, and I wouldn't be expecting too much from Liberali. But maybe Fonseca can think something, try to change the trend a bit, because that number 10 role, whilst Pulisic does pretty well there, it would be better to have Pulisic in his more natural right wing role. Um, but again, if Rafa Leao's not getting minutes, then why should Liberali get minutes? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The argument is also, I mean, obviously against Napoli, we were missing a fair amount of players, but only made 3 subs in a game that, we were chasing for the whole second half 2-0. One of them was Leao
Mm.
coming in, the other one was Pulisic coming in, and then Camarda at the end with 3 minutes to go. We don't have a number 10 that's delivering. You're beefing with your best player, which frees up that position. Look, am I saying
Mhm.
throw in Liberati and start him every game? No, but
No, no.
why should he not get spot
Change,
minutes?
yeah, change the trend a bit somehow.
Yeah, especially if the
Yeah,
emphasis we see with Leao is, hey, run, get after it, boss at the ball, effort.
yeah,
Throw in a kid. Um,
because Liberal is gonna give 120%.
yeah, yeah, and he's
Yeah,
shown in different competition that he's good. And again, I'm not saying plays 90 minutes, starts every game, but when Ruben Loftus-Cheek is walking around and we need a sub and we're playing against Monza, or maybe hopefully this season there's going to be some games where we're actually up. and a game like Venezia, give him some minute. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Could it be worse? Are we gonna get more out of the Scudetto race? No, it's we're already out of it. Might as well. Obviously, they know a lot more than we do. They see training and all that. But yeah, in a situation where we're just not deep and we're looking for sparks everywhere, why not look at youngins, especially because a lot of other teams do it. Also internally, I mean, we see Roma with Pisilli. We see how much Thiago Motta has been doing it at Juve with several different players. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Beyond that, yes. What do you think tonight? W, what's the
Uh,
score
I
prediction?
Yeah, I predicted on the Instagram on our Instagram page on the story that it's going to be a 2-1 win for Milan.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see us not conceding these days.
Hmm.
I'll go ahead and say 3-1. I think
Do you have
Chuk
any goal
scores.
scorers?
I think Chuk scores.
Yeah,
I think Puli scores, and they're off the bench. Come on,
Leao
Rafa.
off the bench.
They're off the
Yeah,
bench.
I'm going to continue the trend and say that Leao is going to score, even though he's not going to start. So he'll come off. Well, most likely not going to start. So him off the bench, and I'm going to say Morata because I feel like he deserves a goal, especially after that
He does deserve to go, poor soul.
passion-filled
Yeah,
celebration.
that's a fair.
Yeah,
That's a fair point.
yeah,
Get a man a touch in
yeah,
the box, please. Let him let him do something.
yeah. That would be
No,
great.
that's
You
fair
know,
enough. That's fair enough.
yeah.
All right. Well, then enjoy the game. We play. Do we play midweek again? Yeah, because we have Champions League now. We play. Oh yeah, of
I
course we
believe so.
play
Yeah.
Tuesday against Real. Maybe that's something we can close up with.
Oh God.
Vinicius getting, well, depending who you asked, robbed off the Ballon d'Or and doing a few tweets about how he's gonna come back stronger, 10 times worse. And apparently the rumors on Madrid is that he's eyeing the next Champions League game to show off. I feel like the 50 Cent meme,
Yeah.
What do you say fuck me for? You know what I mean? Like, come on,
Yeah.
Vinny,
Exactly.
we're
What have we
friends.
done? What have we done?
Don't bring us
Yeah.
into this. We would have
We've had
voted for you
some.
if we could have voted, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've had some other Brazilian superstars in our team. Surely don't have to pick on
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Carlo loves you.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah.
timing is terrible.
Yeah.
At least Bellingham seems upset because everyone was talking about how Carvajal should have won if not Vinicius Junior, and then
Mm-hmm.
Bellingham being maybe a bit of a prima donna was upset. But yeah, just getting ready to be absolutely
Yeah.
destroyed.
Yeah. That timing is
Maybe
bad.
Mbappe's read up on how to not be offside, and then he's gonna absolutely torch our
It
centre
looks like
backs.
Pavlovic might keep everyone onside though after that Lukaku goal. But anyway, yeah, the timing is pretty
Exactly. Yeah.
horrible. This Leao drama, we'll see how it goes. This could be bad. Then get destroyed by Madrid and then Cagliari before the break. Fonseca better have
It's n-
some derby like aces in his pockets because it's gonna start getting rough. But
yeah, it's
as
not looking
always,
good, bro.
thanks for talking it through with me. We'll speak
Thank you.
again after this game, hopefully after this victory and before that the Madrid game.
Sounds good. Talk